you think Rolls-Royce will make a GT3?
I
Like a
mean,
Wraith?
they don't really have the racing
All right,
heritage
we're back.
as much, but they could.
Like a Rolls-Royce GT3?
I mean, let's be
Uh,
honest, the M8 is already almost as big as a Rolls-Royce Wraith, so might as well just
But
like.
that's not GT3, that's GTE.
no, the only pedigree that no, there's a GT3 M8, isn't there? There's that an
No,
M6.
there's an
M6.
M6 and there's an M4 coming next year.
The they made the Wasp.
No, the Rolls-Royce Merlin, the Rolls-Royce Griffin, and the Rolls-Royce Neen.
Well, they were all
You're
like
right, you're right.
they're all
They
like
made the
transport aircraft engines. They were
Pratt &
like
Whitney.
what?
Pratt & Whitney made the Wasps,
Oh,
like the
Oh.
double Wasp and stuff.
yeah, you're right. Well, the race is dying down for first and second, but it's still going pretty strong. McLaughlin's falling back. He's maybe he needs a little bit more front downforce in the rain here with the damage he has on that nose.
The between James and Northrop has added Bennett to the list as
He's catching
Bennett
back
has gotten gotten comfortable in 8th place. I'm examining his car closely, and it doesn't look like there's any damage, so maybe he just spooked himself a little bit. Maybe overheated the tires just a bit. He just set his best lap on 54.903. So, not doing too poorly. This is as compared to the 155 mids that Northrop and James are setting currently.
Yeah. What's you mentioned on Bennett's last lap?
154.9.
Oh, it looks like Northrop and James getting very racy here.
Am I muted?
No, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I hear you.
Matt and I are following the battle of James and Northrop from a dash cam perspective of Bennett's car, McLaren.
It looked pretty stable, or at least Northrop's car does. Or no, are we on Bennett or Northrop?
We're on Bennett right now, watching Northrop and James battle it out.
Good sliding.
A little brave there, Northrop. Alright, Bennett.
Seen a battle between Larry Foster and Josh McLaughlin develop. The twin Aston Martins duking it out for 4th place.
Whoa, Zach.
Whoa!
Whoa.
Yeah, Zach got a little topsy-turvy getting up on the curbing on the exit there as he ran wide. You got to be real careful here at Barcelona. The white and red curbing is not your friend. In the wet.
Northrop makes a pass under James, who gets a little bit unsteady on the out of whatever turn that is. Looks like we have a car out. That's David Nelson. David Nelson is spun.
Oh no.
Is that
Passed
you
by-
there in front? I think.
Passed by Foster, then McLaughlin, and so now sits back in 5th.
Oh no, it's David James there in the 107 Bentley.
Yeah, we're still following along while that accident happened here on Bennett's in-car, and now we've got ourselves a nice little train down the front stretch.
So he's got 5 seconds, or Nelson has 5 seconds up to Jones. That's back to 2nd place where he originally was. It's not impossible, but he looks a little shaken.
These academy guys are practice quite a lot, like almost every day there. I see them on at least like 2 or 3.
Oh no, that's McLaughlin.
Oh no.
Bad Josh.
Oh, and his car looks heavily damaged.
Did he go straight into the inside wall?
Oh no.
Yeah,
Ooh,
he
not the best rejoin there.
He over rotated and then had a tank slapper trying to recover and just slammed the inside wall.
Oh, he went
Oh
straight
yeah,
into it
that
head
car
first.
is messed up.
Very much so.
I would not be surprised if his steering is a little off.
It looks like it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one to get it all the way around the track. So,
look how much
yeah,
he has to steer.
he's definitely damaged. He's gonna try and limp it back to the pits here.
I do appreciate the Nissan Nismo gloves.
so with all that, Dave Jones up to 2nd, Larry Foster back up into the podium.
And Gustavo Cuna also going around in the same place that, or no, not, just kidding. That's a lie.
Almost goes around.
When we're gonna get the British GT tracks.
But meanwhile, we immediately see Nelson putting pressure on Foster again. gaining a second in the last sector, so he's clearly recovered quickly. It'll be enough to catch Jones, who hasn't lost much time.
Oh,
We don't know.
Sponsored by Elf.
Watching
Yeah.
Picha and Kuna here in the back, fighting a couple Bentleys.
Oh, we have a spin in the chicane. James and Bennett have gone together.
And meanwhile, Nelson is looking up the inside of Foster going into turn 1. And looks
Wow,
like
that
he's
was-
gonna clear it. No, Foster with the cut back.
Foster's gonna try and dive on the inside. Sketchy but clean. Nelson defends.
Woo.
Oh, Foster gets a little sideways.
Nice move from Nelson there. First overtake and then defend. Nice job.
Yeah, for sure.
So the fight has caused Nelson to fall a little bit from Jones. He's now 5 seconds down as opposed to 4 when crossed the line. So he's got some work ahead of him. Can he make it? Can he get a second per lap? It's not unreasonable. We've seen him be pretty frighteningly fast in these conditions, but only time will tell, I suppose.
Yeah, now the Astons here are going to struggle a little bit in the wet if they're not careful with their rake angle, because naturally that car wants a lot of rake. It's because of that you get a lot of suspension travel in the rear, and in these wet conditions, sometimes the car gets away from you coming out of the corner as the weight shifts too much into the rear too suddenly, and there's just a lot of floatiness going on back there. So
Do you think they're on wet setups or like adapted from dry?
it varies from driver to driver. I think the track isn't incredibly wet, but I do think if the drivers were taking precaution, they would have had a few, a cheat sheet, so to say, that was going around as far as things you can tweak and tune going into the race. And it looks like the Astons kind of took more of a more rotate heavy tune, trying to take advantage of that, whereas the McLarens were more about keeping a stable platform. You can see Larry getting all types of sideways in the Aston.
Yeah,
Now,
no,
interesting thing-
looking very stable.
Exactly, and the interesting thing about the Aston too is, in the wet at least, is you can lose a little bit of time getting a little tank slappy and letting it play a little bit, because the TC isn't holding you back as much. But the problem is it's a fine line you walk. You could end up spinning it, you could end up binning it. It's a tough one.
Ooh, taking a look here to replay between James and Bennett. James was up ahead. He kind of crossed over heading into the chicane, closed the door, but Bennett in the wet just kind of sailed right into him and unfortunately spun James around. But I think Bennett waited up for him because I'm looking at them live now and James is right on the tail of Bennett.
Yeah.
That was in the final chicane, right?
Yeah.
I saw that live. It wasn't pretty.
No, it wasn't terrible. It was really just the rain kind of made it worse.
But meanwhile,
Yeah.
it appears that Nelson is holding firm on that 1 second per minute goal. He's almost, at least. He's down to 4 seconds, barely back from Jones, with 3.5 minutes left. This could be possible.
He's still got Foster on his tail, and I gotta look at the results
looks like
again.
he's
I don't know if
towing-
Foster's had a single podium this season, which
It looks like Foster is being towed along by Nelson, actually, because he hasn't lost really any time to Nelson, but they've both gained heavily on Jones.
Yeah, I definitely think that the Astons, most of the Aston field seems to have gone with a bit of a riskier setup to try and get a better punch out of the hole, and looks like it hasn't really paid dividends.
Sideways,
for-
sorry.
No, it's all right. No, it's all right.
Got a little excited.
I think Jones with a bit of a safer tune, and he's able to get that
Alright.
consistency to good use.
just gonna ride on board with Larry Foster here, see what he does. He did
What
not
a-
get the drive out of that last turn though. He's actually losing ground to David going down the straight.
What I was shouting about a couple seconds ago and interrupted Justin, in the run up to the last chicane, Nelson went way wide over the bumpers and actually even over the curbs, and I got really sideways, but was able to lock it up and recover, and lost a little bit of time, but that was a heart-pounding moment for a second there.
He lost a little time, but I mean, he got even better run out of the turn because of that, and that helped him defend turn 1. But Larry is there.
Well, he lost about half a second on Jones throughout that turn, so
I imagine at this point all his focus is on just defending. against Foster.
Yeah, I would agree. Especially after that little brown pants moment, I think that.
I can't tell who's faster. It seems Nelson is more stable, but Larry's a little faster.
Yeah, Larry's definitely letting the wet, trying to use the wet to get that rotation and point and score basically. And Nelson's really focusing on just keeping the car as stable as possible.
Well, that is kind of, I mean, you know, Nelson's grown a lot over the last season, but that is kind of his underlying modus operandi.
Oh,
like
there he goes. Nelson runs wide. He does. No, he's gonna let Foster by. There we go. In fact,
now under the grass. Nelson,
yeah.
back it off, man.
And the leader's on the final lap, so next one by will be the finish here.
He does remain ahead of Northrop though, who's had a nice comeback after that incident in the first sector. Oh no, Larry!
Looking into the
It's
chicane.
really squirrely.
Oh, and looks like David.
Oh, it's heating up for third place here. We will be on the podium.
Yeah.
Northrop got a good run out of that last corner.
I gotta say, you talk about the McLaren just being a bit more stable, and that's really helping them through that last curve.
He's making a look. I don't think he's a little bit out of range, and it looks like he agrees. It gets a little wide. Northrop makes a dive under turn 1.
Nah,
Yeah, the car you want to be here is Northrop. You always want to be the third car in this kind of chain for the last lap, because what's going to happen is you're going to wait for that moment where they overextend to make a move, and that's your gap.
I was gonna say, is Northrop, man, if he's going after Nelson, that's just gonna let Foster away. He needs to just sit back, let them basically take each other out.
Oh! Contact! Oh, no!
Northrop, no.
Look, he's got a pretty huge gap to 60 behind
That
him,
was
which
just
is
all
kinda-
Nelson losing it on his own.
Yeah, he's got a nice buffer to Nelson. He should be okay in that sense.
So Bennett is now the next car to Nelson, and I mean, looks like he took some damage, but I think he should be able to just kind of limp it along the last lap. He doesn't have a lot to gain, but stands to lose potentially quite a bit, so I think the smart move is just to coast it.
Yeah, if I'm Larry, I'm cranking the TC up to literal 11 and riding it out to the finish.
Yeah.
Making sure I don't mess it up.
Although rounding the last turn.
Crosses the line.
There he is. Gets his first win in the Academy. Well done, Cliff.
Who's in the head of the championship?
Very dominant day. That will be Bennett. That will be Bennett. Dave Jones is going to come home to a pretty nice second place, escaping all the chaos behind him.
Looks like he just kept it a little stable, and so we didn't run the risk of what these guys
Let me
doing.
check
caught in
here.
battling.
That is going to be Jones' best finish of the season.
Oh, my game
Excellent.
crashed.
Nice job. Great job, Dave. All three of you.
All 3 Daves.
Yep,
The
so
Dave crew.
on the final Dave showdown, it is indeed Jones who takes the title.
They should all team up and become Team D3
Team Dave.
I was gonna say, if they don't
or 3D.
if they don't run a team, if they don't run a 3-man team one of these seasons in the 3D series and name themselves Team 3D, I'm gonna be very upset. Very upset.
3D speed.
I will be protesting at the Capitol.
Here they come. Might see some donuts. Zach Bennett does cross the line in 6th, which will give him the series championship.
What if he does that?
Definitely a bit of a breakout year for Zach here. He was fast, but never quite put it together last season. He's been
We're gonna
pretty dominant second half this
Oh, yeah.
season.
he put it together. We're gonna go ahead and I'll double check the point standings and see if we can get a look at what the picture looks like.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the previous rounds and then trying to add up in my head. Perhaps you have access to uploading the results quicker.
Possibly. Let's figure this out.
Let's figure this out. We'll get the preliminary results up right now as soon as we can get the log files from the server. We'll get this in before we end the broadcast, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Some donuts from Cliff on the front stretch. Good win.
Nice.
You'll love to see it, and he brings it home in the rain in convincing fashion.
Yeah, no contention there the entire time.
Yeah, that was dominant performance.
Oh, for sure. Like, no faults at all.
Looked a bit like that R Factor 2 race last night, didn't it, Matt?
Yeah, you were just cruising. Cruising away. Justin should pick up RF2.
Yes, he should.
Maybe. We'll see.
I was lucky to come away. I think it was my highest place of the season, even though, like, because I kept messing up at other tracks.
Oh, that was definitely that was my first race I basically finished the entire season.
Like, I messed up Sebring from pole. I messed up Road America from second. I flipped at Road Atlanta.
Yes.
And by the way,
I,
can I just say the music is just fantastic in that clip?
You got some.
I've had a couple close, nearly good finishes lately, and it's definitely picking up for me. But I've run into my own problems, and I hope I don't turn into one of those almost guys where I keep having almost top 5, almost top 3, and just have some crazy stuff happen. Because that's 3 times I've had really good finishes for me, killed by fuel, by an accident, by locking them up. Like, there's all these bad things that I keep running into. I'm trying to have just a good race. Alright, so we're getting the log file up now. It'll be uploaded in about 30 seconds.
Awesome.
So we will see. Season 5. Finale. Statistically. There we go. Let me go to scoring and create some scoring. Interesting, Jake Northrup had the fastest lap of the race, despite Cliff running away with it. Okay. So scoring should be saved. All right. So if our lead commentators here want to take down the order, it should be up on the site. I can get them a link if they want to go down the.
I got it here. Let me see if it's updated for me yet. Yes, it has. All right. With his 6th place, looks like championship leader will indeed be Zach Bennett, 221 points. Very dominant here. He's got about a 50-point gap. Then you have Dave Jones, that's Dave Jones in 2nd place with 176. Oh, narrowly edging out David Nelson in 3rd place with 172.
So Dave Jones won the Dave battle.
Yes, he did.
So if Nelson had passed Jones and held it, he could have had the
4th
place.
place would have actually, yeah. That was the difference maker there.
Yeah.
Very close behind as well. Cliff Hemian, 4th place. Larry Foster in 5th. Neutral Jungle, which is
Quinn Smith.
Oh, that was Smith. Yes. Okay, then
that was Smith. You don't have to count for results.
Yes.
We'll skip over that.
Shown here in
So
6th, but then the new 6th place driver is David James. Josh McLaughlin comes home in 8th. Gianmarco Silvestri in 9th, and Jake Northrup in 10th. Hanging on right behind them is John Picha in 11th, Gustavo Cunha in 12th, Peter Tomes in 13th, Paulo JS, I don't remember who that is. He got 11th. Soares, I think that's Soares. That must be Soares then.
Yeah, it is Soares.
And 14th, then you start getting down some guys who weren't around the whole season. Pereguini in 15th. Neptune, I don't remember who that is.
That's George Paluca.
Yes, Paluca 16, Yarborough 17, Shangfeng Fei in 18, and Capote Sloper in 19th.
Some of our latecomers. We have Vincent Grimmard, who was one of our latecomers. He missed this week because he's having some. I believe he's having some different things going on, some exciting things, and I'm not quite sure who Mapram. Oh, Mapram is that is George Paluca's friend, I believe.
And just to round out all those who joined us this season, we had I have no idea what this tag is. Extreme Games. Sorry, don't know what your name and game was. We also had Leonardo Elijah, if you're out there. Zach Wolf joined us around, and Calculix. We got to get these names matched up better with their real names.
Calc would be Matt. That would be Matt.
Ah.
You saw him at Monza last
Mhm.
season in as Matt McSendit.
Ah, yes. And he was at
Yeah.
Monza here
Oh,
again.
yeah, I forgot about that guy.
Yeah, he missed most of most of January and December as far as racing goes. He had some very personal issues. I hope that we'll be seeing more of him going forward. I know that he ran the Wednesday series. He may be running the Sunday series. I'm not entirely sure, but he's a good guy and he's also a great newcomer. He's good friends with all the guys in the academy, so it's a good group.
So what was his name?
Matt,
Matt.
Matt,
Last
send
name?
it.
call him Matt. Matt, send it. I forget what his last name is in the server, but his name, everyone knows him as Matt.
Ah,
So
nice.
He was in the first race last season.
yes. To borrow the mic from you guys a little bit further here, the reason I joined commentary today was because it is the final race of the season. It was a wet race, which was something different. It was promised, and we had our planned rain date somehow come up roses in England. But I want to announce what's going forward with the academy.
Mhm.
So we're going to have 2 weeks of academy time off. That may be extended by 1 week depending on how the rescheduling goes for the Sunday series, as well as the fact that there is Easter Sunday and Super Bowl Sunday, which I know that this is an international series, but there were some drivers concerned about overlapping things since it's basically a national holiday in the United
Mhm.
States. So we'll see how that goes as far as rescheduling goes. So there may be a 3 week period, probably a 2 week period off guaranteed.
At least 2 weeks.
At least 2 weeks, minimum 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, depending on. I believe that the third week would be Super Bowl Sunday, so that's why we might have 3 weeks off. The exciting thing next season, we will have Germany versus Italy.
Hmm.
That is the
Oh.
challenge. Going back to, I don't know if you guys ever watched Survivor growing up, but that is the idea. We won't be sending people off the Academy Island, but what we will be doing is tallying points between the two countries. There will be 4 car entries, technically 6, because I am going to allow the 2020 variations of both the AMG and the Ferrari. So we're going to have
Mm.
all available. We're going to have the Lambo, the Ferrari, and the DLC Ferrari, as well as the AMG, the new DLC AMG, and the Audi.
Mm.
I'm not including the
Porsche.
Rex or the Porsche or the
Nah,
BMW.
include the Rex.
Yeah, no Rex, no Porsche, no BMW, and no old Lamborghini chassis, just because all of the chassis are basically strict upgrades. The difference being that the DLC ones, obviously, if you have the DLC, you're more than welcome to. If you don't have the DLC, we want to make sure that there's an option available to you. And what we're going to do is we're going to tally up the points between the different countries. So hopefully we have a bit of a spread. I'd love to see if instead of a conventional
So is there
wisdom,
like
instead of everyone joining with one car, everybody goes to what they like. I think the Ferrari is very popular, so we're going to see a lot of 2020 Ferraris. I think.
so
But
here's what I'm thinking. Is there like an academy championship and as well there's gonna be like a country championship or just countries?
Um, there will be an overall points standing list, but the thing that I want everyone to focus on as the main draw, the main championship, is going to be Italy versus Germany. So, uh, to keep going with this very homely, very warm community that we've been growing in the academy, I would love to see that continue. And I think instead of having a couple guys get together and practice and stuff, because what we saw was a lot of the Aston guys really bonded together, and a lot of the McLaren guys were out on the track together, and the Bentley guys were out there. I think what we'll see now is two larger groups kind of form, and hopefully with something like that, we'll see even more camaraderie because starting this, the academy, there's a lot of things you learn. There's a lot of different starting places. Maybe it's basic car control for some very new drivers to sim racing. Maybe it's finding improvements in lap time because you've hit a plateau very early in your career and you just never made it past it. Maybe it's
Me.
learning racecraft because you get nervous because you get nervous around other drivers, or
What?
you get
No.
frustrated because you don't understand how to pass drivers, and how it's not done in turn one by dumping the guy in front of you, Matt. And maybe,
What?
yeah, everyone's at a little bit of a different
Hey, that did
juncture.
happen. Not
That
last
did.
time. That was the time before.
So there's all these different junctions, and one of those things that gets skipped over a lot is the fact that there's a level of teamwork and team building, and racing as a team sport. And sometimes on the sim we feel very individualistic because we're tuning our own cars, we're practicing our cars privately on our own private tracks, and there's all this going into it that's very alone. And sometimes I feel like we see that in the upper levels of ESR, where the Sunday server and the Wednesday server, more often than not, are fairly empty most of the time. Even though they're up for practice all week, they're fairly empty. But if you look at the academy, there's always somebody in there. I check the logs at least once a week, and I've got a million logs of drivers coming in, coming out, coming in, coming out. So I'd love to see that kind of culture build from the ground level, the base, the new drivers, so to speak, build
Yeah.
that culture, and I think and inject it into the upper levels of the ESR pyramid here. So we'll see what happens. It'll be really fun. It'll be really exciting. But 2 to 3 weeks time, get ready to bring it. We're gonna open up signups at the end of next week, I think. So, we'll open up signups in about 10 days, maybe less,
That makes
depending on
sense.
how we work out the logistics of this. So, be excited for that, guys. I'm very excited. Oh, and I almost forgot. I'm talking a lot here. I'll wrap it up. One last important thing: we do have some graduates this season. The growth that we've seen out of Cliff, out of Dave Nelson, out of Zach Bennett. You guys have just you found your footing. You went into the Sunday series. You both finished top 10. You're finishing very well. You still have a little bit to learn, and so in an effort to stop the overall level from getting too high in the academy, which then defeats the purpose, I'm gonna say you guys are graduated. If you want to return, you can take an enormous ballast, mandatory, no questions, doesn't matter. You can take an enormous ballast, and you guys can be the big dogs of the group that go and help and take on that intermediate role. Message me. I'm really excited. We can do something about that. But for now, you guys are all, you get your little blue ribbon, you get your little scout badge says I graduated, and those are the big three for me this season.
Hey, nice job.
Man, I wish I had my soundboard up or else I'd play a yay.
Yeah.
I don't have mine either, but yeah, yay! All right, guys. So I'll leave it to the regular commentary crew to close out. I'm Justin. I'm on ESR. You can always message me and find me in the Discord server. Have a good one.
See ya.
Big thanks,
See ya.
Justin.
Big son.
Always good to have
Oh.
him here. He's always such a positive influence on everything, and I mean, it remains to be said how much this man does for, not even just the academy. Of course, he's like the
He's in charge of the
he's
Sunday
a
series.
foundation. What's that?
He's ahead of the Sunday series.
Yeah, I mean, he does so much for this entire organization, and so it's good to hear from him directly. I know he's a big role model for a lot of the academy, and so it's always good to hear him be so positive, even when essentially kicking out people at the academy. We're graduating. You're graduating.
It's a kicking him out under another name. Maybe we can get some
It's the
academy guy
American
from
way.
here.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can get some more entries in here. I mean, he's moving
right,
on
the
out like
academy
5
guy.
or so drivers. That's a lot of them. It's like half the field today. So we can get some more.
Well,
people
as
in
you
here.
said, there are a lot of people who could probably stand to use an academy season or two.
Yeah.
Ayrton Cole.
Yes. But
Matt, I don't want to hear from you. I'm under a lot of
Hey,
stress.
why don't we just drag some academy guys in here?
how about we just ask Mike? I'm sure he could give us a long list of drivers who should be here. But
Recommendations for an academy seat.
You know what? Let's go with this. Anyone who shows up on a stewarding report has to do the next race in the academy and has to do it cleanly.
Well, I don't know if you saw the last 3D Speed steering report, but there's quite a few drivers on that list. Why don't we just have a mandatory 3D speed to Academy season? Like everyone has to be in the Academy.
Everyone has to complete the academy first. Really, I only see 3 guys on the last
Pack the Academy.
3D speed one. But Laguna Seca got only 3 guys getting penalties. Although technically one of those was Quinn Smith, so I guess back to the academy you go.
Oh no!
No,
You
I
thought you
didn't
could
mean anyone
escape.
got penalties. I meant anyone who appeared in the thingy, the extorting report.
That's, I mean, still 3. But yes. Anyways, was a fun season.
Yeah, could we want to drag some Academy guys in here, get their word on this?
Sure thing.
What do they think of this season?
I forgot about Matt Send It. We gotta see him again. I just remember his catchphrase, Send It!
Let me ask him.
He said that like 3 times in the first race. I was like, oh, this guy. But he's cool. I like him.
Let's see here if anyone wants to hop in.
Hey Matt,
Yeah, what's up?
do you know where to find the official ACC director tool?
I
I'm sure.
got it
I'm
installed. Official one?
Yep.
Because I'm using the same
Yeah,
one we were
not
using
not
before.
not 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 the broken one. The official one.
I haven't seen anything about that.
I think it comes with ACC, but I forget where to find it. And the internet's being surprisingly unhelpful.
Well, I gotta say, this season flew by. It legit feels like yesterday that we were at Nürburgring watching that season finale. Alrighty. Looks like we've got our first taker. The first man to raise his hands. Josh McLaughlin. That didn't look fun. Well, it looked fun at first, and then it didn't look fun.
That looked good. Looked fun to me. I mean, until the.
No,
pit
I
thing.
love putting cars in the wall, it's the best part of racing. Especially when it's your own, and then you're 2
Yeah,
laps down, it's like, yeah, this is what I want from a race.
Exactly.
Did your mum poke on the window
Fair
again?
enough.
No, not this time. No, I just ran wide and then tried to put the power down on a curb, and curbs and rain don't go together, so...
Every
Yeah.
time when I see you in the wall, I immediately think of that.
Yeah, I can understand that, to be honest. Yeah, no, it was a great race. Other than that, obviously, but yeah, it was good to see a lot of fighting going on and a lot of positions being taken, and
You finished 8th
Right.
in the standings. How do you feel?
8th in the standings. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'm not really here for points, to be honest.
That's a good way to look at it. We're all here to grow, and
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not, because I'm already fully grown, but all you lads are here to
You're
grow.
not
No, I'm
grown.
just kidding.
You can do
And
some work.
I mean, what was it? This is the first.
Is that
Academy
Cole
race
McRae
in the rain,
finished
right?
last place in the 3D race? Saying he's great?
No, I
Yeah.
finished 3rd from last. You were the one who finished last.
No, I didn't finish.
Yes.
Pretty sure you
Yes, did
finished
finish.
last.
So therefore you were last.
No,
Let's
you're
see.
the last in
30th
the
place is lower
classified
or
sheet.
higher than 27th place.
Again, I didn't
Not
even
sure
finish.
about that
I was eating a sandwich during the race. It was great.
At least I tried.
Nope.
Anyway.
Anyways,
No one likes a quitter, Ayrton, is all I'm gonna say. Anyway, yeah, like how did it feel to have the last race be this in the rain? I think this was the first rainy race we've had
It
so
is,
far, right?
it
In
is,
spite of
yeah.
Brain Hats being predicted, but we dodged that bullet somehow.
It was challenging, to be honest. Setup's just different,
Yeah.
And for me, I guess it was a little bit easier because I didn't know Barcelona, so I was learning for the first time in the rain, which I guess is easier than trying to unlearn the track.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you set up for the rain, or did you try to set up for like a hybrid? Because I mean, this race wasn't long enough to. I mean, maybe
Well,
you could have planned to do a pit in the middle, but did you?
I tried the wet setup, and Larry suggested to modify the aggressive setup. So I tried both, and I found one was better in under power, and one was better in entrance. It's like, which one do I do? So I just kind of modified the aggressive and just went with that.
And I mean, it felt good, I assume.
No, it didn't.
No? Okay, never mind.
No, you just have the throttle and the TC goes on, and it's just terrible. But
And what kind of TC were you running for the most part? Was it pretty high, or did you
started off
try
on
to?
3.3 and worked my way up to like 5.5 by the end. Wasn't really happy with the power, to be honest.
Yeah,
That
that
sounds like
That
Pretty good
Aston's
plan.
looked pretty good all season, but Justin was kind of going over some of the little setup nuances of the cars, and looked like all the guys in the Astons were kind of struggling for grip in the rain today.
Yeah, I mean, we had it on the entrance, and
Mhm.
for the most part, it was pretty hard to spin.
Definitely not nearly
With the
stable
McLaren.
as that McLaren when it came to
Yeah.
turn exit.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, you saw the McLarens; they spun real easy in the rain.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
We're
I
doing
think
that.
that's kind of a. There's not one car that's great, although Cliff was just gone.
He was out of there.
Yeah, we really didn't talk much about the Bentleys, but I assume they're probably pretty stable. They're
they
relatively stable in normal
yeah. I don't think
concourse,
we
right?
saw any of them really spinning on their own
There was
today.
only 2 of them on grid though
Well,
today, I think.
well, there
there
are
was
three: Kuna
Oh, yeah, okay.
and
Picha and
Hemian
Kuna.
Kuna,
and one other
Jones,
Picha.
Oh,
Kuna,
And
Jones,
Jones.
Hemian,
and Picha.
and Picha.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
there's actually
well,
4.
Kuna had 2 or 3 spins there, but I don't know. You know, it could have been a setup thing.
Apparently, IRL, the Aston is supposed to be really good in the rain because the design, like the rear suspension, just gives it good traction.
Ah, okay.
I guess just further proof ACCs. No, it doesn't make sense.
But-
Yep.
I mean, it's been a great season regardless of the last race. I mean, it's been at the
Yeah,
very least, it's been very fun to observe and to watch the fights kind of evolve.
So,
It's
Josh,
been fun
how
to
many
take part
poles
of.
do you have?
Yeah. Sorry, poles.
Just have the one pole?
In this season, I think I just had the 1 pole. Yeah. Last season, I had 1 pole as well.
Did you win a race today?
I would have to check race app. I don't remember.
I'm actually looking over everything right here. If it would load.
I definitely took.
You
pole
got a
at,
second at Monza.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, second at Monza.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I took pole at Zolder.
No, I think it was Q Smith.
Q Smith. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to be the pole and first place winner to have fun and to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the important part anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hopefully, 3 Speed and GT Challenge go well. Be fun
Yeah,
to.
you
It's
two-
been
How's the Jag?
not as bad as people say it is, to be honest. It's more fun to drive. You know, like just going down the straights next to a wall, you thank yourself for driving it. The sound is just amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like you hear it going by, you're just like, oh, it's so good.
Yep.
So are you and Jeff in talks about like setups, or?
We have messaged occasionally about setups. So I think in the future we are going to be doing some setup work together because he can be my carry.
Yeah, he's a decent guy.
I was very pleased to see a Jag at the top of the grid.
Hey.
Yeah, I raced with Jeff, like last season, and I was teammates with him like in the driver's swap race. We did like a driver's swap race last season.
Oh yes.
I think we finished second just because Stoffmeal carried Hobby P.
Ah yes. Yeah.
Well, I see we only had 9 drivers take part in the entire season, and we had 8 different drivers finishing on the podium throughout the season. So pretty well spread around.
Yeah.
Did anyone finish on the podium the entire season? No. No, they did not. In fact, the highest you had was 3 podiums out of 6 races for anyone.
Nice.
Who was that?
Bennett and Hemian
Oh, okay.
and Foster actually all got 3 podiums.
Were they the top 3 in the standings?
No. That is 1st, 4th, and 5th. Mr. Quinn Smith himself, if you consider 3 out of 3, before he was relegated upwards.
Unceremoniously demoted
Yes.
or kicked out, depending on how you see it.
Yeah.
We shouldn't keep you, Josh. I mean, we know you have stuff to do.
Yes, I have a life somehow.
Yes. All right. Well, with that, wait. When did Cole leave? I don't remember Cole leaving, but he's not here. Okay.
Maybe if you had, if maybe
About 10 seconds ago.
if you lost that life, you'd be better at ACC.
Maybe if I actually practiced for races.
Maybe if
I
you were
might
better at
actually know the
ACC,
track.
you would be worse at life. Think of it that way. Don't do that.
That's true.
Yeah, I relate to that.
Well, with
Alright,
that,
I'll leave you
folks,
two to it.
see ya, Josh. We're gonna wrap things up.
See ya.
As always, this was your faithful commentators, Ayrton and Matt, and sometimes sometimes Cole. We'll
Sometimes
see
Cole.
you on the other side. Wait, no, we're not gonna die. Anyways, we'll see you when
Later.
the next one starts. Okay, goodbye.